Chair Powell, we are live. You may proceed.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I call to order this meeting of the University of Minnesota Board of Regents. The purpose of our meeting today, the meeting this morning, is to accept public comment on the University of Minnesota Police Department's use of portable audio and video recorders, body-worn cameras. Before we start, I want to outline the procedures that we will follow. This is an opportunity for the university community and the public to voice their thoughts about the departmental policy related to body-worn cameras. This is not a dialogue, so if you pose specific questions, please do not expect answers or a response today. The University of Minnesota Police Departments on the Twin Cities, Duluth, and Morris campuses will consider your concerns and your suggestions, but please note that because this is a departmental policy, no action is required by the board, and no action will be taken by the board. We have 4 speakers signed up, and the speakers will be called on in the order in which they signed up. Mr. Steeves will call on each speaker. When it is your turn, please state your full name for the record. Mr. Steeves will also keep time, and he will alert speakers when their time has expired. So before we invite our first speaker, Senior Vice President Franz, I believe you have some framing comments that you would like to provide.
Yes, Mr. Chair, thank you very much. I would just like to give some context here. In 2017, following work done by an internal working group of the departments of Duluth, Morris, and the Twin Cities Police Departments, they put forward a proposed body-worn camera policy, and a public comment process was provided at the June 8, 2017 Board of Regents meeting. Now, these policies were ultimately not adopted by the departments since the body-worn cameras were not implemented at that time. But as noted by the chair and in the board agenda for today, the proposed 2021 policies are based on the League of Minnesota Cities model body-worn camera policy. In 2016, the Minnesota legislature set forth statutory requirements law enforcement agencies must follow if they implement body-worn camera programs. This is codified in Minnesota Statute 626.8473. Now, that year in 2016, a working group of the League of Minnesota Cities developed an information memo and a draft model policy that was last revised in October of 2019. The working group comprised members from the Minnesota County's Intergovernmental Trust, Minnesota Chiefs of Police Association, the Minnesota Association of City Attorneys, Minnesota County Attorneys Association, Minneapolis Police Department, St. Paul Police Department, Cannon Falls Police Department, Burnsville Police Department, and Columbia Heights Police Department. The proposed university departmental policy today is really 3 identical departmental policies that would apply to the university's Duluth, Morris, and Twin Cities Police Departments. These postings in this policy meets the statutory requirements and contains a number of key provisions. The policy includes mandatory, permissive, and prohibited camera activation categories. It includes compliance provisions that require duties for officers in managing body-worn camera data, and there are required roles and duties for supervisors and a body-worn camera coordinator in ensuring compliance with the policy, including monthly internal review and a biennial independent audit of departmental data collection departmental collection use and storage practices. The process for public review of the policy also complies with the statutory requirements and includes posting the proposed policy on departmental websites at Duluth, Morris, and Twin Cities, and soliciting comments, public comments from those sites, and also including public comment today. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
All right. Thank you, Senior Vice President Franz. So I think we're ready to start. Mr. Steeves, will you please call the first name?
Jayla Lyman.
Please proceed.
Can everyone hear me?
I think we can, yes.
Okay, sounds good. So hello, my name is Jayla Lyman, and I'm currently a University of Minnesota Twin Cities student. I expressed concerns of UMPD held by Black students, specifically and community members, with Cedric Alexander and the need for a Civilian and Community Police Accountability Council, CCPAC. Our community should have a role in the accountability of officers. Police cannot simply police themselves. That is the same as a kid choosing their own punishment, and they will always pick the least severe, easiest option. Therefore, I call into question, why is this the first demand that they are trying to implement? Because this is not the appropriate response to addressing student concern. George Mason University Center for Evidence-Based Crime Policy, the study which looked at 70 other body-worn camera studies published through June 2018, found that cameras have not had statistically significant effects on most measures of officer and citizen behavior or citizens' views of police. A study found that our neighbors to the east in Wisconsin saw little change as well. A 2018 study of 504 officers in the Milwaukee Police Department, conducted by Lawrence and other Urban Institute researchers, found that body cameras had no effect on the likelihood officers would use force in the course of their duties. Therefore, I pose the question, what are you aiming to accomplish with the implementation of body cameras? To improve accountability measures and repair trust amongst UMPD and the community, or use this as a performative action that is as effective as a Band-Aid over a wound that requires surgery? Out of all the measures from Alexander's report, body cameras were not named a priority by any student. There's no infrastructure for body cameras to meet any accountability standards. Lack of access to video and body camera footage is still an issue, and footage is still in control of UMPD and could arguably be for extended periods of time, which could allow for tampering as well. Data requests are also often delayed or even completely ignored, and there's a lack of transparency in the complaint process, which is incredibly complicated, as noted in the Cedric Alexander report. So if this is going to be implemented, it should come from the money that they already have. An idea would be to open up funds by eliminating the amount of military-grade weapons that are currently possessed by UMPD. We have seen the unjustifiable use of military weapons at a peaceful demonstration held by Students for Democratic Society protesters who were faced with unjustified use of riot gear and AR-15s. Therefore, CCPAC, Civilian and Community Police Accountability Action Committee, must be a part of the implementation of body-worn cameras, because the community members must have full guaranteed access to all body camera footage and have a say in the consequences of officers' misconduct. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Lyman, for your comment. Mr. Steves, can we move on to the next speaker, please?
Sina Rugani.
Please proceed.
Hello, my name is Sina Rogani, and I'm a student in the College of Science and Engineering. I'm hoping that the Regents can put in place a rigorous policy that prevents abuse and creates a more trusted and fairer community. As a former employee of the Department of Public Safety, I believe in our officers and feel we can do so much by encouraging the public that we are on their side. But a recent practice by abusive members of law enforcement was to play copyrighted music while committing acts of excessive force or unjustified stop and search. Bystanders who then record their actions for accountability or protection are then blocked from disseminating this evidence due to our draconian copyright laws. To prevent this, I'd like to encourage language in the policy which prohibits UMN or UMPD personnel from engaging in acts interfering with or preventing the lawful recording and public dissemination of law enforcement interacting with the public. Sanctions should include termination, since those who intend to interfere with the lawful recording present more of a risk than a benefit to the force. This overcomes the loopholes of recording in restrooms and private businesses. Under Minnesota law, non-commercial, one-party consent of recording is allowed in all places, public and private. As long as it is expected, a reasonable person would not disrobe. This language is included in legislation to prohibit recording within changing rooms, locker rooms, and restrooms, but at the same time to provide the protection to record public encounters for the record. By using the phrasing of protecting all lawfully recorded footage by the public, you can avoid worrying about loopholes which may invade officers or citizens' privacy, and provide the public with the reassurance that they won't be and they cannot be intimidated by officers engaging in abusive acts. It's just a matter of the public being confident that there are systems in place to protect the innocent, and I think it can go a long way. Thank you for your consideration, and I yield my time.
Thank you, Mr. Rogani, for your comment. Mr. Steves, please can we move now to the next speaker?
Our third speaker has not called into the meeting, so we'll move to our fourth speaker, who is Sarina Milliken, or Sarani Milliken.
Please proceed.
Thank you. My name is Sarani Milliken. I am a second-year law student at the University of Minnesota Law School. I welcome Dr. Alexander's report and recommendations regarding the use of body cameras, but this implementation, this policy, is problematic because I believe it should be accompanied by stronger use limitations for the collected footage to address privacy concerns. The University of Minnesota has a world-renowned expert in privacy law at the law school, and it might be helpful to consult him. But that aside, this policy uses data retention, access, and disclosure limitations as its actionable points, on which I have one broad comment and 5 narrow concerns. Dr. Alexander's report presents body cameras as a technology that can be used to monitor and evaluate behavior in the context of anti-bias training. In this use, body cameras would outweigh, the benefits would outweigh the costs. However, the policy that you are discussing today barely addresses this aspect of body cam usage, and therefore it can be deceptive to pass it as a response to Dr. Alexander's report. This policy frames all videos as potentially evidentiary. This is particularly concerning because in weighing each piece of recording for its potential for use as evidence, the other vital purpose, which would be training, would be completely undercut. So I'd suggest using more neutral terms such as flagged and unflagged footage to aid in adopting the right mental approach. There's also the issue that, my narrow concerns are first, the access section F1 allows users to review footage before making an initial report. This practice has had problematic results in other jurisdictions, and therefore I strongly suggest that officers file an initial report without consulting footage and supplement that report as necessary afterwards. Second, I find it deeply disturbing that this policy does not address biometrics and the potential for developing a facial recognition database. Using biometrics in real time has some strong consequences for human rights and our rights under the Constitution. And so both of these actions should be explicitly forbidden in this policy, barring some very, very exceptional circumstances. Third, this policy places no affirmative action duty on officers to notify persons that they are being recorded. This is unfortunate because now everyone must assume that they are being recorded, which will not help in building trust, which in turn will result in more adversarial encounters. This policy should instead place a duty on officers to notify with exceptions for expedient circumstances or where there is a risk of harm. The lack of transparency around the retention policy is problematic. The incorporated records retention schedule has a general recommendation for retaining evidence videos for 30 days, and the policy states 90 days. But apparently there are additional non-public policies internal to UMPD that impact retention as well. These should be public as per the statute and also as per general good practice. Finally, access to the videos for the public, especially those making allegations of police misconduct, is vitally important. A log of all changes made to video, including download records and changes to labeling as per data labeling section D and data security safeguard section C1 should be maintained, and that should be in the policy as well. Effective training, not just in technology use, but in anti-bias, is the key to the overall issue that students are asking the university to address, and also the key to building trust within this community. In improving accountability and transparency, body cameras can be an ally, but in the absence of adequate privacy policies, this tool can actually impede both a sense of community and our individual liberties. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak today.
And thank you for your comment. Mr. Steves, has our fourth speaker arrived?
No, Mr. Chair, and we have no additional speakers.
Okay. Well, I want to thank all the speakers. Senior Vice President Franz, before I conclude the meeting, do you have any closing comments that you would like to make?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want to thank all the presenters, both today and those in written form, as well as those people who have commented on the public websites of the department policies throughout our system. We appreciate the comments. We'll look at them carefully, and we'll try to make sure we take those into account as we move forward. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
All right. Thank you, Senior Vice President. All right. I also would like to thank all the speakers, and I want to thank my colleagues on the Board of Regents for your time and attention. Colleagues, we will reconvene for our regular meeting at 20 minutes till 9. So we'll give you a 20-minute break here. We'll reconvene at 20 to 9. And this meeting is now adjourned. Thank you.